Welcome to Aging Wisely, the podcast, a show that aims to center the lives and needs of the aging and disabled communities, a platform for the issues that matter to them most, a space for them and those who work with and alongside them. I am Veronica Escobar, the producer and host. My goal is to educate and transform. I came to know Adam Galchus from afar through his parents. I've known them since my baby lawyer days. And over time, I learned a few things about them too. Adam's parents are really good lawyers. They're excellent parents, and they're also musicians. I once saw Adam's mother transposing a song to a different key on sheet music while we both sat in the back of a courtroom. We were both waiting for our cases to be called. And to be honest, I just thought that was pretty cool. Adam, his oldest sister, and parents are also part of a family band called the Waffles. The Waffles came together with Adam to perform this podcast's theme music. Like I said, they're a great family. Adam's parents are lawyers, and that's how I met them, but they're more than that. We're all more than what we do to make a living and how we present to the outside world. People are always more than what they appear to be. We just don't take the time to learn and listen. And this brings us to Adam, their second child and only son. Adam was born with a disability. And no, you're not going to hear its name on this episode. And while that might disappoint some of you, the focus of the interview wasn't to talk about Adam's disability, even though, as you will hear, it has made him who he is. I wanted to learn more about him, his love of music, and how he plans to use his talents professionally. Adam's first musical influence was his mom, and his first exposure to music was on the car rides to school.
It was mostly my mom that actually introduced me to Frank Sinatra. Every time when my mom drives me to elementary school, she always plays Fly Me to the Moon. That was the first time I fell in love with Frank Sinatra. He's like one of my favorite idols of all time, and I love listening to his beautiful voice. And so that's when my passion for music started.
Did you know that when he was studying with a vocal coach in New Jersey, the vocal coach told him that he was not going to be successful because of that voice? What does that tell you? It tells you that people can be wrong about a lot of things, and they were wrong about Frank Sinatra. How old were you when your mother introduced you to Frank Sinatra?
Like, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old.
And at that time, did you play a musical instrument?
When I was 8 years old, I started to play my first instrument, which was the drums.
What was it about the drums?
That was the time when my dad, he introduced me to the Beatles, and I loved Ringo's drumming. Like, I would consider him as one of the best drummers of all time. I started taking drum lessons.
Now, you said my first instrument. How many do you play?
I played the drums. When I was in middle school, I started with the baritone horn. Then I went on the valve trombone. I switched to the slide trombone, and I played some piano.
Do you practice?
I do. I try to practice every day. I know it's more important to have more sound on my trombone. That's the same thing for the drums.
When you were in high school, were you enrolled in any sort of music programs, or was music something that you still did independently?
So when I was in high school, I was part of the music academy. So besides taking music theory and music history, I was also in the jazz band and concert band, both on trombone. I was in the percussion ensemble. I also conducted a beginner's band when I was in high school.
When did you decide I'm going to college and I'm still going to study music? And how did that happen?
So when I was in my third and fourth year of high school, I was also doing college hunt. I got help from my family. There was one college that had a perfect music program, which was Hofstra.
He graduated from the university in 2019 with a Bachelor of Science in Music with a concentration in jazz and commercial music. The latter is songwriting, composing, and arranging. In your undergraduate program, what did you study?
So, of course, I took music theory classes. I took keyboard harmony. I took jazz history. I And also on campus, I had trombone and drum lessons. Adjunct instructors.
Are these adjunct professors professional musicians?
Yes.
What is that like, getting lessons from musicians who actually play gigs?
So it's really fun, and I really love them. For my drum instructor, he was so nice, and he was still like it was added like another parental figure to me. And the best thing about my drum instructor, he's a famous jazz drummer, and he used to play with John Pizzarelli.
Your mother's a very big fan of John Pizzarelli. I've heard her talk about him before.
Yes.
John Pizzarelli is really well known within American jazz music. He's a renowned guitarist and singer and was born and raised in New Jersey. And it's interesting that you see your drum professor as a parental figure. What was it about him, or what is it about him that's so special that it stayed with you?
Like I really had a special bond with him. Like every time during my lessons, it's kind of funny. We like to goof off. Like we just like go on tangents. And we also like to talk about about his family. Because a couple of times on campus, I met his son. His son is really nice.
I get this sense that what you really liked about him is that he took the time to know you as a person,
Yes,
and that meant something to you.
correct.
Was it part of your music program or the curriculum that you had to continue taking your drum and your trombone lessons?
Yeah, I still need to take lessons.
What inspired you to continue music when you were in college?
Yeah, because it all started in elementary school. My passion for music, and it really hit to me because when I was at the music academy at Hofstra, like I totally blended in with the other music majors, that they really accepted me for who I am, and I continued my music studies.
What does it mean to you to be accepted by your peers?
That they really get to know me, and of course they're aware of my disabilities, but they don't ask me about my disabilities. Like they see me as a different person. That like they tell me I'm a very caring, fun, and and a funny kind of guy, and they really want to hang out with me. Like when I was in my freshman year of hospital as a music major, I had this I had an upperclassman who was so on the first day that she helped me. She helped me with my music theory homework. She was like my what do you say, like the upperclassman parent.
Like a buddy almost?
Yes.
And what did it mean to you as a freshman to have somebody help you?
Like I really had a special connection with her. I gotta say, that's a very good question that you asked me. Like I just want to say that she also accepts for who I am. And I said that she also comes to my events on campus, and I go to her events on campus. And that's what I do for my other music peers, but especially my music buddy.
Now, you said something about people accepting you for who you are and not asking about your disability. What does it feel like when people focus on your disability?
There's different answers that I have to this. Like there were some people who were really mean to me, especially middle school. I didn't like middle school because I had a lot of bullies back then, and they don't treat me well because which leads up to the next point. I have a speech and language disability where I have trouble talking, and I do stutter, but not often. Like I have trouble pronouncing a letter, and back then, about my middle school bullies, that they tell me, dude, I don't understand you. Why are you so weird? And I was like really hurt because back then, like they didn't accept me for who I am. But my speech teacher at my middle school, she was really nice to me, and she gave me speech lessons, and I tried to talk more to the other peers at middle school, but they still didn't treat me well.
In your own words, having been bullied at that young of an age, what did it teach you?
It really taught me what kind of people that I need to avoid, which is a perfect answer.
I think it's about sort of staying away from people who give you bad vibes. And life is too short to be around people that don't make you feel good. Was high school any different for you?
Yes, high school was really special to me because, of course, it's a common thing. I get nervous on the first day. When I was at the music academy, these upperclassmen, they were so nice to me and they really accepted who I am. And they took care of me and they nourished me and they always wanted to be on my side, that they want to help me. Like they serve like a helping hand to me.
And was that the first time that you ever felt that your peers were your friends?
Yes.
You graduated from your undergraduate at Hofstra. Before you graduated, did you want to find a job or were you already set on getting a master's degree?
Before I graduated, when I was in my first year of hospital, my older sister helped me to find a job. In the spring of 2016, I had an interview at the Louis Armstrong House Museum.
Adam started working there in May of 2016, and he told me that Louis Armstrong is one of his musical idols. What is it about Louis Armstrong that you idolize?
Like, I just love his famous captainy voice, and I love all of the collaborations he did, like especially with Duke, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, you name it.
What are your favorite musical styles?
I'm a very old guy, so I got mostly of the music interest for both my parents. My mom's side, she loves the 70s, and I also love the 70s. And my dad's family, where my dad's family listens to old country music. I love old country. That's including Johnny Cash, Buck Owens, Patsy Cline, Merle Haggard.
But you're also into jazz too, because I know that your mother likes going to jazz clubs.
I'm a huge fan of jazz. I also love classical music, and I also love Broadway musicals. When it comes to musicals, I love everything from Leonard Bernstein to Stephen Sondheim. I love Julie Stein, and I also love. Oh my God! I'm a huge fan of Wicked, Mamma Mia, and I love Jersey Boys. I saw it 3 times.
Well, that makes sense though because of the music. The music, it's very much from the time period that you like. And also Mamma Mia is the 70s and Wicked is a great musical. Let's pivot a little bit. I redirect the conversation to his master's program. When you said I'm going to get a master's, what made you decide to get a master's in special education?
So I was still in undergrad. It was around 2018. I came across this article from a newspaper that my dad showed me that there's a local school in my neighborhood. And there's this music teacher who helps students with disabilities, and he helps them to come up with music on their tablets. He had an interview with me, but I watched him helping the students. There was a couple of times where he gave me the stage where I gave music lectures to the kids at this exceptional school. When I was in my last year of hospital, I got the news that I got accepted to the masters back at hospital. That was like April 2019. And then July 2019, to have like a paid job where I help children with disabilities at a Hewitt elementary school where I also taught them music. And then this past January in 2020, I did another music lecture at the Oceanside Library for kids with disabilities.
What kind of disabilities did the children have that you were teaching and talking to?
They have a little bit of autism and some learning disabilities.
How did you come to learn of those opportunities? Did they seek you out and ask you to do it, or did you volunteer?
Well, I volunteered. One of my advisor in my master's actually told me, "Hey, Adam, there are 2 guys at the Oceanside Library that's very interested in you, and you should talk to them about doing a music appreciation class." And I had an interview with them, and they told me about what I would be doing. That I would give music lectures to the kids, and I would also tell them what I could do on my trombone.
What did it feel like to be able to teach children who have disabilities?
We both have disabilities, and we get to know each other, and really feel more accepted, and I feel comfortable helping kids with disabilities.
Was it those experiences of working with children with disabilities that led you to say, I want to get a master's in special education?
So they're two separate things. When I was an undergrad, I did music. Right now, it's special education. They're two separate things.
Is there any component of the curriculum where you're going to have to incorporate or use your music education? Is there a music education track at all?
To be honest, I think no. Maybe I can use a little bit of music if they will let me do it.
What do you plan to do with it?
So my goal is to help children who's in middle through high school. So for this case, it would be secondary level,
Where do you see yourself working?
mostly out of high school.
Now, let's talk about the jingle writing because I had a conversation with your mother a number of years ago. We were sitting in the back of the courtroom and she told me what you were up to and what you were studying in school. And I think this is before you applied for your master's. And she turned to me and she said, well, what I really want Adam to do is write jingles, the ones that they do for commercials. And I started laughing because it was such a random thing for her to say. Do you see yourself writing music
Yes,
in addition to being a teacher?
yes.
What is it about writing music that you like?
When I took my songwriting class at Hofstra, that I love learning about the different styles of songwriting that I did. Like I learned about how to write a blues, how to write a character theme plot, how to write jingles. When I was an undergrad, I had these two projects that I had to do. I did a jingle for a non-diet Coke commercial.
You have to let me listen to that jingle. Do you still have it?
I think I still have it.
What did you think of the experience of writing a jingle for a commercial?
It was really great, and I got help from my professor that he helped me, okay, Adam, use the notes from a chord and form it into a melody. And so he helped me with the chords and the notes. He also provided the sound effects. So this professor who I also had a special bond with him. We were like the Lennon and McCartney or something like Garfunkel.
Lennon and McCartney to that level? Excuse me. What did you think when I asked you to write my jingle?
So it was 11 months ago, January 2020, that I got the news from my mom that you texted her about, hey, do you want to write a jingle? I said, sure. Like back then in January, I came up with some notes. I was just doodling around on the piano during this fall semester. I that I resumed to the jingle. I got help from my dad to write in a different key, and they featured me on the drums, my dad on the bass, Molly at the saxophone, and my mom on the piano.
I knew that the waffles were involved.
Yes,
The performance of the jingle was a family affair.
yes,
You and I know that your family has a band.
yes.
Tell me about the origins of the waffles. How did the waffles start?
Let's see, I was in sixth grade at middle school. I heard there was news they had a talent show and they thought of me. It was me and my family and one of my music instructors. We performed Lady Madonna.
And you did that as a family?
Yeah, I was in seventh grade, so I was studying preparations for my bar mitzvah. I used to do like a project, like the B'nai Mitzvah project that me and my family, we play at nursing homes, we play at the children's hospital, and we took pictures and videos of it.
Was that the beginning of the waffles?
Yes.
What does it feel like to play music with your family?
When I'm with my mom, my dad, and Molly separately, we have special bonds. But as a family band, just like the Partridge family, we have we have like the union, synchronized special bond.
I know your mother plays the piano in the band. What instrument does Dad play?
He plays the same model as Paul's bass.
So he plays the bass.
Yeah.
And what does Miss Molly play?
Molly plays the saxophone and the guitar, and she also sings. Molly is the lead singer.
You're playing the drums and the trombone?
In the Waffles, mostly the drums.
How did they come up with the name The Waffles? Because it's an interesting name.
But when I was in middle school, every morning my dad makes me waffles for breakfast.
And that's how you came up with the name The Waffles? That's very cute. That's really, really cute. One other thing that's good to know about Adam is that he has perfect pitch, and he found this gift through his mother. I think your mother told me once that you have perfect pitch.
That's correct.
How does somebody figure out that they have perfect pitch?
So I play a little bit of piano. When I hear a car beep or a train or a boat or any vehicle, any sound that they honk or horn, I know what note they're playing.
So you're telling me that if you hear a car horn or a noise, can you replicate the pitch on the piano?
Yes.
So how did you realize I can replicate what I hear?
When I was with my mom, she tests my perfect pitch that she had her cell phone. She had a piano app on my phone, and she told me, "Okay, Adam, what's this note?" Then I would say A flat. Okay, what's this note? Then she play. I would say, "This is C sharp."
Now, you were very open in talking to me about what it was like for you in middle school to have bullies and people who just were mean to you. If a child who has a disability and listening to this interview, what would you say if they were being bullied?
I would just tell them, just forget about the past. Don't worry what just happened. You can do this. I believe in you. Just reach for your aspirations and never give up. Try your best.
Is that your motto?
So I'm a huge fan of Disney and Pixar. The reason that this relates to me as my motto is keep moving forward to infinity and beyond and just keep swimming.
And To Infinity and Beyond is from Buzz Lightyear.
Yes.
Just keep swimming. That's from one of my favorite animated Disney films of all time, Nemo.
Yes, Finding Nemo. Yeah, and kind of related to Nemo because Nemo, he also has a disability because he has a short fin.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does. When you watched Nemo and you saw that short fin, how did you connect to that character?
That I totally accept who he is because we both have disabilities. I know from Finding Nemo that his dad that he was very overprotective, but for me, I don't have any overprotective parents. Of course my parents would tell me, "Don't do this, just keep trying regardless, and I love you."
What would you say to the parents of a disabled child? Because look at everything that you've done. You're now 24 years old. You're in the second years of your master's program, and you have a sense of what your future is going to be. There may be people out there that are listening to this who are raising a small child with a disability. It could be anything. And maybe they're nervous, maybe they're worried. What would you say to them?
That's a very good question. So first of all, what I want to tell to the parents that they need to be aware of what their kid is going through in their daily lives, both at home and in school. They need to help their kid with their schoolwork, how to join the IEP meetings, how to, just like what you said, act like the cheerleader figure.
Do you think that a parent being a cheerleader is important?
Yes.
Why?
Because just like related to sporting events that they have the cheerleaders saying two for say who do we appreciate, and it kind of relates to the parents that they appreciate their kids who they love, like especially in my life, my parents who did they appreciate me because this is who I am, this is who I want to be.
What would you tell people in general? Because I think you and I know that people judge people all the time. We sometimes make assumptions about people. What would you tell people, not parents, not a child? What would you tell people listening to this podcast about people with disabilities?
Well, I would tell them, well, don't judge a person just to let them be. Like, I know they can be sometimes with kids, who have disabilities, they can do some quirky stuff, but that's what they do, and they need to feel more accepted. And this relates to one of my favorite movies. It was To Kill a Mockingbird. There was, and there was a famous scene of Gregory Peck as Atlas outside when Atlas told Jim not to make fun of little Walter, that he once started to understand how to view little Walter. And that's what we should do. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. Just go through the pages. And for the kids, don't judge a person by their features or their disabilities, just to know the different building blocks that they're built up to be.
The building blocks that they're meant to be. Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful response, and it's absolutely correct. You can't judge a book by its cover, and you have to turn the pages because that's where the story is. What do you see as your future?
In my future, I see two different fields. Like one field, I will be a teacher, helping students. In my other field, I'll be a musician. That's what I can see in my future.
I want to hear your music in commercials. I want to hear your music on TV shows. I want to hear your music everywhere. And I think you're going to do it.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was in the Your College Big Band. And one time there's a graduation ceremony at your college. My music instructor, he gave this speech. And this kind of relates to me that music is like the ocean that accepts all rivers.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, Adam. Can you do me a favor? And I don't know if you can. Can you play me something?
I don't have my instruments with me.
That sucks. Some other time, though.
Yeah, sure.
It was such a good interview.
I'm motivated for taking this time to know me better.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. Like I said before, your parents have talked about you for so long, and they are proud of you. They're proud of everything that you've been able to accomplish in your life. You've pushed forward. And, I know that has a lot to do with you, but you have incredible people behind you.
Yeah.
You're a very lucky young man to have the family that you do, but they're lucky to have you too.
Thank you.
When I conceived of the idea of this podcast, I truly wanted it to be a platform for the aging and disabled communities. And I can't think of a more fitting ending to season 1 than introducing Adam, his beautiful spirit, and talent to all of you. I want to thank him again for putting himself out there in front of a microphone and talking to me. Living as your true self is beautiful. You are strong, courageous, and your future is limitless. And to his parents, thank you for entrusting your son to me and allowing me to tell a bit of his story. I know the depth of your love for him. As always, thank you for joining me on another episode of Aging Wisely, the podcast. If you like my podcast, please subscribe. You can find it wherever podcasts play. If you spend time on YouTube, the podcast has a channel by the same name, and you can find the episodes there. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast, you can go to agingwiselypodcast.com and look around, listen to this and prior episodes, and even better, subscribe to my newsletter. Every 2 weeks, the current episodes and the transcript to the current episode straight into your inbox. If you like this episode, I would love a review on whatever platform you listen. And if you enjoyed the podcast or have benefited from it in any way, please let others know about it. I will be taking a well-deserved break where I'll continue to be working on this podcast behind the scenes. And I hope that all of you listening will come back to this spot in the winter of 2022 when I launch season 2. Episode recording has already started, and it will be different. Like I said in the trailer episode, I love deep dives, and that's season 2 in a nutshell. See y'all later. Bye.